Let's begin from the Supreme Court because the Chief Justice nominee Paul Bafuboni has stirred controversy by backing the Ghana Law Society's bid for official recognition. The move comes amid a landmark Supreme Court case challenging the Ghana Bar Association's constitutional monopoly. Now, Bafuboni urged the society to seek licensing from the General Legal Counsel, stressing regulatory compliance over associational ties. His stance raises eyebrows as he would empanel judges for the very case under dispute. There's more in the following report.
The Ghana Law Society visited the Chief Justice this morning to congratulate him and to formally express their intention to seek recognition. In his remarks, the Chief Justice welcomed the group's decision to obtain a license from the General Legal Counsel.
Since the case of Tariwaja and the Attorney General, the courts have always insisted that practicing lawyers must be in good standing. And as far as good standing is concerned, to us, it means you must have a certificate from the GLC. So in your speech, Counsel, you said that you are going to make representation to the GLC for recognition and then licensing. Yes, I think it will be in the right or a direction. That because all that we are interested in at the GLC is that you possess our license.
He also commended the group for their visit and stated that he would work to ensure justice is delivered to the Ghanaian people.
Personally grateful to you for the kind word that you've said about me, and I hope and pray that at the end of the day, what we all desire, that is justice for the good people of the country, will be achieved.
Abraham Amalaba, a founding member of the Ghana Law Society, emphasized that the association is not established to create trouble, but to complement the work of the judiciary.
Rest assured that this association, Ghana Law Society, is not coming to be a troublemaker, but rather to complement what the judiciary has been doing already.
For Joy News, Fatah Bayaka, Accra.
Well, let's bring in some legal brains. The legal counsel to the Minority Caucus, John Darko, and we'll also speak to the former director of Ghana Law School, Kweku Ansah-Sarri. Let me begin with you, John Darko. You are on the minority side. First of all, what do you make of the, acting Chief Justice's position on this matter?
I am shocked, actually. I wish I didn't have to do this. I am just shocked that the acting Chief Justice will go into this matter, a matter which is already decay and it's like a before.
I think we are struggling to hear you. If you can reposition yourself up so we can hear you clearly.
Is it better now?
I think it's better now.
Yes, and I'm saying that I'm shocked. I am so shocked that I'm actually lost for words. I wish I didn't have to say this because the Chief Justice, the acting Chief Justice, somebody who I said very good, and I'm surprised that he gave it to this trap, this policy, for him to comment on the matter.
The Ghana Law Society.
In fact, even as lawyers, warned not to comment on cases that are before the court. And so for an acting Chief Justice who will empanel judges to hear this matter as to whether the Ghana Legal Society has the same capacity as Ghana Bar Association, or the declaration that Ghana Bar Association should be construed to mean all forms of association. I mean, this is a matter that is sub judice, it's been filed before the court. And so for the Chief Justice, for the acting Chief Justice to say this to mean that he has already taken a stand. And I am so sad, I'm so worried that we are doing this to ourselves as a country. I wish, honestly, that I didn't have to do this. But what are the issues here? The association says that they believe the GBA, the Ghana Bar Association, as is stated in the Constitution, should not construe to mean this current GBA, and that it should be construed to mean any other body of lawyers who come together as a group. I'm trying to understand how, even as lawyers, we're going to do this, because when it comes to interpretation of the Constitution, there are rules of interpretation. If the words are plain, you apply their literal meaning. When it comes to Article 153, they are talking about, when they talk about the membership of the Judicial Council, clearly it says that a representative of the Ghana Bar Association, that the name Ghana Bar Association bring any controversy. When we look at the rules of interpretation, you only interpret when you believe that the words lead to absurdity, repugnancy, or an unjust outcome.
Right.
Does the name Ghana Bar Association bring any repugnancy, absurdity, or an unjust outcome for the court to even interpret? These are issues that the court, I believe, are going to sit down and look at. And so for an acting Chief Justice to accept this group as a group properly so-called, and then say that they have a right and that they should register with General Legal Counsel, and he is the chairman of the General Legal Counsel, it means that something which is already been litigated, you have already given your blessing.
All right.
I am shocked, and I don't believe that I'm even talking as a member of the minority. As a lawyer, I talk as a lawyer, and I'm worried what we are getting ourselves into, because there's no way in the Constitution or the Legal Profession Act that the name Ghana Bar Association.
Okay. Mr. John Darko, I believe the point has clearly been made, and we appreciate your time and your thoughts on this matter. Let's bring in former director of Ghana School of Law, Kweku Ansah Asare. Do you agree with John Darko when he says that the public utterances of the acting Chief Justice on this matter is problematic?
Thank you very much. I haven't heard the utterances of the acting CJ, but what I can say is that the public is entitled to articulate it one way or the other on this matter. So, whatever the acting CJ has said will not occasion any surprise to me at all. Freedom of expression, and therefore, if a group of lawyers is suggesting that they want to break away from the Ghana Bar Association, whoever is occupying the position of CJ can express his views.
But is that not problematic? Is that not problematic? Forgive me, considering the fact that he's the same person that is going to empanel the judges to look into the matter. The matter is already in court.
Well, whether he expresses the view or not, he will empanel under Article 125 for the CJ, or the acting CJ is the administrative head of the judiciary, and as head of the judiciary, he has the most say in empaneling justices to hear cases. But that itself shouldn't even be a problem. The real problem is the motive behind, the attempt to break away. But again, I'm not surprised. We are, in a democracy. People are entitled, to join whatever association they like. They are entitled to form whatever association their resources, can equate them to do. So no one should, express any, clear views on this matter. I don't think it's a problem. But what is worrying me is that the NDC, there's a group a group of lawyers known as NDC lawyers. That is rather what is worrying me.
Okay.
That in this nation, one day we should have, NPP lawyers, NDC lawyers, CPP lawyers. We have only one Ghana. And, our one Ghana must have, lawyers who will be loyal and committed to the cause of democracy of this nation, and not rather, on partisan lines. So that, I mean, if the newest GBA group is established and they are giving representation on the Judicial Council, on appointment to the Supreme Court, on appointment to the Court of Appeal, to the High Court, even to the Magistrate Court. So what? The end result will be that will be diluting the very justice, that we have all, subscribed to uphold. We'll be diluting the justice.
All right.
So now it will be, an NDC,
NPP kind of
a particular.
Right. Thank you so much, Kweku Ansah-Asare. We are grateful for your thought on this particular matter. Well, to some other story, President John Dramani Mahama delivered a blunt message at the United Nations. Crimes against Palestinians must stop. He urged world leaders to speak plainly on the Gaza crisis. His comments come just hours after the minority urged the government to tread cautiously on the issue. There's more in the following report.
Addressing world leaders in New York, President John Dramani Mahama criticized attempts to soften the reality of the Gaza crisis, stressing Ghana's support for a two-state solution.
Ghana recognized the state of Palestine in 1988 and supported a two-state solution to the conflict since then. And I say, contrary to the claims of some, a two-state solution would not be a reward for Hamas. It would rather be a reprieve for the hundreds of thousands of innocent women and children and people who are facing collective punishment and forced starvation for no reason other than the fact that they are Palestinian. For nearly 2 years and for the fear of reprisals, we here in this General Assembly have been playing hide and seek with language to find the right words to help us avoid or excuse what we all know is taking place in Gaza. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you call it. If it looks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well, then it must be a duck. The crimes in Gaza must stop. The crimes in Gaza must stop.
The president also challenged the United Nations relevance, calling its chapter outdated and demanding reforms to reflect today's realities.
The UN Founding Charter is outdated when it comes to representation in this August Assembly. The most powerful post-World War II nations are still being rewarded with an almost totalitarian guardianship over the rest of the world. And yet, the first sentence in Chapter 2, Article 1 of the UN Charter declares that the organization is based on the principle of sovereign equality of all its members. If this were true, and was the case, a continent as large as Africa, with its numerous UN member states, would have at least one permanent seat on the Security Council.
The president's address on Gaza comes just a day after the minority urged caution on the issue. Samuel Abujinapo is a ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee.
By describing the events in Gaza in absolute terms and aligning the country explicitly with one side in a highly polarized conflict, the government risks compromising the delicate balance that has long safeguarded Ghana's credibility as an impartial actor on the international stage.
Well, let's bring in Dr. Vladimir Ntwedanso. He's the Dean of Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College here in Accra. We're grateful for your time. First of all, your general assessment of the President's address at the UN.
Thank you for having me, but let me correct an impression. For a time, I'm no longer the Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Command College.
Well noted, sir.
Right. Generally, the president blunt. Yeah, that's right. It's blunt. It's what is multiple offense. The fact that delicate does not necessarily mean that we cannot say, as to put it, when it is a duck, we cannot say it is a duck. I was intrigued by bold stance which contradicted what Trump came to say about rewarding the Hamas, the recognized Palestine. Unfortunately, as the president put it, since 1998, we have recognized Palestine, and we have been part of the two-state solution long before these European countries have decided to recognize them. So we must say it as it is and work towards it. My only problem is that these are nothing but part of the lamentations we have been doing for the past 30 years. And Kofi Annan tried to recalibrate the United Nations structure by redefining or getting a new framework for security. But unfortunately, the structure of the UN, as the president said, is such that there is a catch-22. Whatever we do, it must be approved by the P5, any one of them or in a collective. So even changing the structure will have to get the approval of the P5. This is what the president left out. The point is this, that we need a restructuring of the UN, but through a new charter altogether. This charter is outdated, as he said. But nothing can overthrow the charter if we go through the same charter to correct the charter. We need a new charter altogether.
The president also touched on some other issues with regards to the management of Africa's own natural resources, considering the fact that donor funds are going down. Was that a very good point for the president to make at the UN?
Very good point, because that is the only forum we can express our disgust at the way we are being treated where our natural resources are concerned. Unfortunately, we have to blame ourselves, our leaders. He has to blame his colleagues in Africa who signed those transactional agreements instead of some developmental agreements. I mean, somebody comes here to take our gold, to take our lithium and whatnot, and he pays a royalty of 6%, and we are happy. And we, the politicians, clap when we say, oh, during X time, they had 4%. We have been able to get 10%. What are we doing? This transactional agreement, the IEA has come out several times to say that these agreements are bad. We should have learned from countries like Ethiopia, countries like Eritrea, who say, I have my, and then Norway too, they taught us how to handle our oil, but we didn't follow them. Who say, I have my resource, I don't have money, come take it up. And then the profit, we share it 60-40. 60 for you, 40 for me. And that's what is happening.
Right.
But we sign obnoxious agreements and then we regret later. And it's the whole of Africa that is doing that.
Right. Before I let you go, the minority has been raising concerns about the government utterances on the Palestine issue. They believe that the position of the government could, bring some friction between our country and Israel and its allies. Is there a view you share?
No, absolutely. So be it. We are a sovereign country. If we say something and they are angry, let them be angry. So do they do things that make us angry? A delicate balance. I mean, yes, we have to show that delicate line. But then when it is a spade, let's call it a spade. What is happening in Palestine? No person well screwed, with a head properly screwed, will accept what is happening. I mean, we went to Iraq on a collective and said Iraq was attacking Kuwait, and that was against the charter. And we all went there. So what Israel is doing is against also the Genocide Convention. Why has the United Nations waited up till now? And if we in Ghana or Kenya or South Africa get up to mention it as it is, what is the delicate line over here? We need to say it as it is.
Right.
I think they are believing that the U.S. or Israel will be angry, and so what?
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. We appreciate your time.
President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana has raised fresh concerns and alarm over illegal mining, warning that the menace has now escalated into a national health emergency. Speaking at the 89th Annual General Meeting of the Society in Cape Coast, Dr. Samuel Dongo cautioned that contamination of water bodies from Galamsey activities threatens the integrity of locally manufactured medicines, putting Ghana's pharmaceutical sovereignty and public health at serious risk.
With mounting calls on government to address the devastating damage to river bodies caused by illegal mining, government has announced plans to deploy the military to water bodies where galamsey activities persist.
Addressing the official opening ceremony of the meeting, the president of PSGH, FAM Dr. Samuel Koldonko, recognized illegal mining as a threat to primary health care, noting its impacts on pharmaceutical sovereignty.
Illegal small-scale mining and its accompanying environmental devastation is undeniably affecting the health care of many individuals. Waterways contaminated with mercury and cyanide, lead, copper, and various heavy metals. These environmental crimes have severe health consequences, including waterborne diseases, dermatological disorders, respiratory illnesses, and heavy metal poisoning. However, the impact of galamsey extends beyond immediate health concerns to threaten our pharmaceutical sovereignty. Ghana currently depends on 70% of its medicines from imports. The locally produced medicines require quality water for production, especially infusion manufacturing. When our water treatment plant shuts down due to galamsey-related pollution, we would face a catastrophic scenario. And we will not only import our medicines, but we would completely collapse the pharmaceutical industry, local pharmaceutical industry.
Gracing the occasion as a special guest, the Omahin of Ogwa traditional area, Osaberima Dr. Nana Kwesiata II, acknowledged pharmacists as frontline responders, reiterating the impact of illegal mining on the health of Ghanaians.
We cannot gather here to talk about health and ignore the ongoing devastation caused by galamsey. These illegal mining operations are not just destroying our lands and water bodies. They are compromising the health of generations. The destruction of our lands and the water bodies through illegal mining is no longer only an environmental crisis. It is a health emergency. We cannot continue to fold our arms. We ask the government, traditional rulers, myself, environmentalists, healthcare workers, and indeed all of us to come together and fight this canker.
The Central Regional Minister, Ekopin Nedriamwa Ochiri, representing President Mahama at the meeting, noted that community pharmacists will be integrated into the country's healthcare delivery system.
The government, therefore, pledges to create more opportunities for the recruitment, training, and deployment of pharmacists across the health system.
Abigail Lissel in Nkrumah reports for JoyNews.
Meanwhile, government is stepping up its fight against galamsey with plans to deploy the military to rivers and forest reserves. The move, according to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, has become necessary following alarming levels of pollution and encroachment. There's more in the following report.
With mounting calls on government to address the devastating damage to river bodies caused by illegal mining, government has announced plans to deploy the military to water bodies where galamsey activities persist. Speaking at the 11th West and Central Africa Mining Summit, Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Suleimana Yusuf, said the move has become necessary due to the alarming turbidity levels recorded in affected rivers.
They flush them out today, and the next 2-3 days, because they are not there permanently, then they go back. And so going forward, the suggestion is that we're going to have permanent military bases at appropriate places, advantage places. Plans are far advanced to ensure that we have permanent military bases, advantage places to ensure that our forest reserves and our water bodies are turning into green and blue.
He added that despite the NDC's earlier calls for a state of emergency, it has become evident since resuming office that the previous government had not fully utilized all available options in the fight against galamsey, measures the current administration is now pursuing to gradually curb the menace.
To declare a state of emergency, if you ask me, is when you think that things have gone that worse. The previous administration, some of us had said that there was a need for a state of emergency. We don't run away from it because we thought that they hadn't put in place the appropriate measures to be able to resolve the matter. In terms of timidity level of the water, go and check it under the previous administration and check it today. There's some improvement. We're not saying that we've been able to resolve it, but what we are saying is that there's been some significant improvement. So we are just asking for some space, okay, for us to see the efficacy of these policies, of these mechanisms that we have put in place. If it gets to a point we think that that is not working, I'm not sure the president will want to run away from declaring state of emergency. When we get there, we will do it.
Maxwell Aklobotu's report read to you.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime. We'll be back with more after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in.
Welcome back.
Further stories now. The Ghana Grid Company has raised alarm over growing threats posed by illegal mining activities to the country's power transmission network. According to the company, illegal miners are encroaching on transmission corridors, erecting pits dangerously close to high voltage towers, and in some cases, directly targeting Gridco staff with gunfire. Acting Deputy CEO in charge of engineering and operation at Gridco, Frank Autry, warns that the situation is not only endangering the lives of workers, but also puts the national grid at serious risk. There's more in the following report by James Aveji.
The Energy Committee, led by Chairman Emmanuel Bejira and Ranking Member Kwame Abuaje, began the first day of their 3-day monitoring visit to energy sector agencies with stops at Gridco, the Energy Commission and PURC here in Accra. At Gridco, officials highlighted ongoing expansion projects, including a $353 million 161 kV transmission line aimed at improving power supply in the Volta and Uti regions. They, however, said illegal mining activities are threatening their transmission towers in some parts of the country.
The right-of-way clearing becomes lucrative to galamseyers, and in a number of areas, our people go and see that overnight people come and do their galamseying activities very close to our towers. Unfortunately, there are some areas that even when our maintenance teams are going, they get shot at, and some of them have had to run away.
The galamsey is not only affecting Ghana Water Company, that is only affecting national security, it's affecting Gridco as well, the transmission line. Very soon, you go there and you'll be shocked with the power that is in, and you'll be bent down. So we want to caution Ghanaians, especially galamseyers, to know that you are risking your life.
At the Energy Commission Executive Secretary, Eunice Brechu, called for tax incentives for local renewable energy companies, as she said they are working on a target to add 63 megawatts of power to the national energy mix.
There's one, SPS was around, they weren't able to do much, they're just hanging around. Another entity, TradeWorks, has really, he's built his factory, he's looking at bringing in equipment, and he wants to partner with us, and he sees that perhaps even some collaboration with governments where they're incentivized to produce in large numbers will help to push that agenda. I mean, we are talking about local content and local participation. We really need to support our local industries to really be able to pick up the renewable energy agenda for the country.
At the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, Executive Secretary Shafiq Suleiman said they are advocating for a new law to protect water bodies from destruction by illegal mining.
So we will be glad if the Parliament can consider a Clean Drinking Water Act or regulatory framework with PURC ready to take up the mantle. In fact, we've even developed internally an existing framework. We are only waiting for the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources to call for it and possibly pass it through Parliament for it to become a law so that we can help implement it.
On the issue of utility tariff increase for ECG and Ghana Water, PURC said regional consultations are ongoing before a final decision. The committee chairman and ranking member, however, stressed that any approval must be preceded by ECG reducing its losses.
I mean, we are the representative of the people. We cannot sit down and our people just to come and bundle any rate to us. We need to know what exactly it entails, and that if we are going to be in the same alignment or the same price range with our neighbors, that's fine. If not, then what is the justification for the new tariff?
The waste. Efficiency will bring something that will help all of us. Okay, they should focus on efficiency. And I know if they focus on efficiency, they won't be demanding increment all the time.
The committee will continue with day 2 of its monitoring visit, where's the Electricity Company of Ghana, the Volta River Authority, and then later move to the Eastern region. For JoyNews, I am James Savage.
Let's now take you to Ho, because the Agbogbome Fia of Asogli State, Togbe Afede, has called for constitutional reforms to strengthen the fight against corruption. He argued it is unjust for officials who embezzle public funds to go free, while petty thieves face long sentences. Equal punishment for offenders, regardless of status, he said, would deter corruption. Togbe Afede made the remarks at the Asogli Anti-Corruption Day in Ho.
Gauging the level of corruption and its related effects on the country, the Asogli State instituted the Anti-Corruption Day as part of its annual Yam Festival to whip up public interest in fighting corruption. At this year's event, the Deputy Director of the Security and Exchange Commission, Mensa Thompson, called for concerted efforts towards ending corruption.
There are corruptions that will rob millions of people of their livelihood and create series of young unemployed graduates. That's the corruption that we stand against on a daily basis. And so we are doing our part. It is now up to you, the citizen, to also do your part.
The Agbogbome Fia of the Asogli State, Togbe Afede the 14th, asserted that corruption has robbed the country of development, leading to poverty.
So, as I said, since so much immigration, uptick in the crime rate, and also uptick in the suicide rate. These are the consequences of our underdevelopment or of the poverty that has become our lot. I have identified corruption as the #1 culprit. But of course, we know that the lack of adequate infrastructure is also a consequence of corruption. It makes corruption the #1 enemy. We talk about Galamsey, it's also a product of corruption. So corruption indeed is our #1 enemy.
He also lamented the unfair criminal justice system being witnessed in the country, calling for equal punishment for criminals and corrupt officers.
Of course, constitutional provisions can help. That is why I like the idea of the Constitutional Review Committee. Hopefully, they can identify aspects of the Constitution that would need amendment, and which amendments can help strengthen the fight against corruption, create a strong incentive to be corrupt. But of course, laws don't enforce themselves. We have to enforce those laws. Lack of enforcement has been one factor in encouraging people who want to steal. Of course, we need the appropriate laws as well. We've always said about the goat thief who is sent to jail for many years, and the one who steals millions walking free. Again, we need to form a constitution to remedy those situations.
Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews. Ho.
Other stories now, a city known as a major commercial and agricultural hub, Techiman, is now facing a growing enemy, its own waste. Clogged gutters, plastic-choked streets and overflowing landfill sites threaten public health and the city's image. But from within this challenge, a group of determined volunteers have emerged, declaring war on filth. And as Sabit has more in this feature.
This is the face of a modern problem. Techiman generates tons of waste daily, a byproduct of its vibrant commerce. And for too long, the fight against plastics, organic refuse, and indiscriminate dumping has been a losing battle. The situation at times has been dire. But listen closely. That's the sound of a new front in this war. Meet the City Boys, a volunteer army whose weapon of choice is the broom and whose enemy is every bit of filth in the Techiman metropolis. From street to street, gutter to gutter, market to market, this is their battlefield. They are not paid. They are driven by a simple, powerful belief that Techiman can and must be one of the cleanest cities in the country.
Our main purpose or our vision is to provide clean and good environment for the people of Ghana. And our vision is to make Techiman Buni is the cleanest city in Ghana. So we do it weekly, every Saturday and Sunday. And it's a volunteer group, so we do it voluntarily. And anyone can join.
Founded by Abdul Hamid, popularly known as Ice Papa, this volunteer group dedicates their weekends to tackling the city's most critical points. They believe that Techiman's economic potential, driven by agriculture and commerce, is directly linked to its environmental health.
Well, to some international news, the French Navy has seized nearly 10 tons of cocaine valued at $610 million off the coast of West Africa. 2 French naval vessels intercepted the enormous haul from an unflagged fishing boat on Monday, acting on intelligence from maritime authorities and the British National Crime Agency. France has deployed naval forces to the Gulf of Guinea since 1990 to ensure security in a region where piracy is common. According to the Navy, 54 tons of drugs have been intercepted in the area so far this year. Well, that's it for the international news. Up next is Showbiz with Becky. Well, it's Showbiz time, and Becky, you're already here.
Yes, I'm always here. Good evening to you, Carlos. This evening, there's a lot happening in the world of show business. Let's start from the comedy industry because comedian Waris, he was on Joy Prime Changes, and he's been talking about the comedy industry as a whole, the fact that they're all together as, family and... The way you're looking at me.
No, I'm interested in the story, actually.
I know, yeah. So, there's been some misconceptions that the comedians are not together.
Divided and there's no unity.
No, they are all united. They are together forever.
Don't mind them. There is no division in the comedy industry.
Okay.
There is no division. I believe we sit, we eat, we laugh. You understand what we have as a misunderstanding, we discuss it between us. What we have it as an industry misunderstanding, we put it where we have to put it.
Okay.
So if I have a misunderstanding with you that I've given you lorry fare, you should come, you don't want to come. That one I can discuss with you personally.
All right.
But if I give you lorry fare that you should come to my event and you don't come, we will discuss it on air.
All right.
We good? So it's differences. Industry issue, because when I discuss it on air, it has to involve the media and everybody. So when we discuss it as a whole to solve it. So normally you hear comedy, it's all about, okay, the chatter house, the this, that, because it's a media.
Right.
But when we have our own difference issue, we solve it together. So there is no division.
There's no division.
Yeah, it's just something that we talk about to bring development.
Our attention to the music industry. Ghanaian rap icon Michael Owusu-Addo Sarkodie has urged investors to channel resources into Kumasi's creative arts sector, stressing that music is lucrative and sustainable industry capable of generating wealth and transforming communities. He made the call when he delivered a keynote address at the Kumasi Rising Music, Media and Tourism Dialogue held at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The summit was part of activities leading up to Rapaholic, the homecoming, Sarkodie's highly anticipated concert set for Saturday, September 27 in Kumasi.
Speaking at the global impact of African music, Sarkodie highlighted the role of Afrobeats in reshaping cultural pride and identity.
We're in a great space now because of where Afrobeat is. Now we have Afro Nation worldwide. Now Africans in diaspora are more confident to call themselves Africans because of music, what we have been able to do.
He challenged investors to look beyond traditional business ventures and recognize the profitability of music.
We definitely want to encourage investment in the local arts here in Kumasi. And that's one thing that most investors are very scared of. But one thing I can say for sure, music is one of the most safest and lucrative business you can get into. I can compare music to any other product you can think about, whether it be water, real estate, anything. To me, I will rate music over real estate.
The rapper also underscored the importance of innovative investment models that extend beyond wealthy stakeholders, urging individuals to explore ownership and partnership in the creative space.
So this is an industry that you can't just see it as entertainment and people are just jumping and that's it. This is a serious money-making machine. And I will urge investors. And I understand sometimes it's really hard to have the conversation with investors because they don't understand what it really is. It's about ownership, whether it's partnership. Sarkodie, I own 100%. You can come with partner, you own 20, you own 50, depends on what you bring on board. I think for a long time, and I'm not limiting this to just wealthy people with the money, with the cash to come in. Even you as an individual can actually buy shares in music as well.
The Kumasi Rising Dialogue sought to position Kumasi as a hub for music, media and tourism while sparking conversations around sustainable investment in the city's creative economy. With his upcoming concert just days away, Sarkodie's call adds weight to ongoing discussions about unlocking Kumasi's cultural and economic potential through the arts. For Joy News, Erabna Akwe, Kumasi.
That's a beautiful report coming from Irabna there, holding the fort for us in Kumasi. I'm sure she'll be following the Rapaholic, which is coming up this weekend. I wish I could be there, but yeah, would you?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Yeah, you won't. Maybe Jivenu will be there. But before we go, you know Kitty, right?
Oh, I know Kitty, yeah, sure.
You know why they call him Sugar Daddy?
No, I think he's been explaining that.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. This is one of those things that just happen because you make a song about a specific thing, and then that song becomes your title, and then I just step into it and say, you know what? It is what it is. Like, I did a song called Sugar Daddy on my Sugar album, and then it just, and I found myself, like, when I was supposed to do, like, video endorsements, I was like, oh, yo, it's your boy, Kitty, Sugar Daddy. I just kept saying, and then it just got stuck.
And how did the name Kitty 2 come about?
Okay, so Kitty was given to me by Richie.
Ah!
Yeah. Before I met Richie, I was going by the name Eduardo. Yeah, and it was like, nope, we cannot do
Eduardo. You cannot do Eduardo.
Oh boy, you know, so we brainstormed all night, and I researched, found names, and then we came to Kitty, which means rhythm.
Hey, Miss Becky, all. Thank you so much for having me, Carlos.
Right.
Everyone log on to myjoyonline.com business. We'll be here to treat you with all the business stories. You know, those, business stories that brings you money. Yeah, wait for it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.